Hey everybody, what's going on? I am Greg Sussman today, joined by Davis Mattek of SportsGrid, coming off a JT victory this past weekend. But instead of looking at the PGA Tour, we're taking a look at some March Madness. We're giving out our three, I don't want to say best bets, but most interesting bets to win the whole thing. What's going on, Davis?
Not a ton going on. Getting very excited for March Madness. Obviously, we didn't get it last year. This year, I will be on in-game live on SportsGrid TV, sweating out the games. I put in a 9-game parlay of all of the 9 games that are going on when I'm on air on Friday. So I am ready to sweat March Madness the way it was intended to be sweated.
That is fantastic. I am pumped for in-game live all weekend long on SportsGrid with March Madness. But let's get into a team that you're going to root to win this whole thing. And again, we're not talking about taking Illinois or taking Gonzaga. No. We begin with a 2 seed, but not the 2 seed you're probably thinking of. Davis, your first bet is with Houston. Kelvin Sampson's squad doesn't exactly have the toughest region to get through, but nobody likes Houston because, well, they're not in a Power 5 conference. They haven't played the schedule. But since Kelvin Sampson's taken over this program, they've been really good. And again, this path seems doable.
Yeah, it definitely does seem doable. And I guess I should make it clear. I definitely am not approaching college basketball as someone who is I'm not scouting Houston's like bench guys and how they're going to come out and play. I'm really looking at the efficiency numbers on KenPom and just kind of how these teams are getting treated by the market. And Houston does look like the big value in terms of a team that can theoretically win as a 1 or a 2 seed and meets a lot of the criteria as previous winners of the NCAA tournament. They are the 8th best offense in the country if you adjust for efficiency, and it's pretty easy to see why. They hoist up a ton of three-pointers. They shoot 26.2 three-pointers per game. Obviously, that was the best in their collegiate conference, and they're decent at shooting them as well, shooting 35% as a team. Quentin Grimes, Marcus Sasser, and Cameron Tyson are their 3 sharpshooters. Grimes and Tyson both shoot over 40% from 3. And a team that launches a bunch of threes. They have a good core. They have a good head coach, and they're a 2 seed and number 6 in KenPom's efficiency rankings. I think 21-1 is a pretty solid price on them.
I'm with you. 21-1 on a number 2 seed. That you're not getting that anywhere else. It's all the value here with Houston, who again, they've been good for a few years now. I know maybe not as exciting as they were last year before everything shut down, but Houston, they got a shot at getting the Final Four. And most people are not going to be in on this at plus 2,100, 21-1 at FanDuel Sportsbook. It's tough to ignore. One player who is tough to ignore is Cade Cunningham, the likely number 1 overall selection in the NBA draft, the best collegiate player coming out this year. Maybe not overall. You do have Luka Garza, but Oklahoma State is 35-1 to win this whole thing. And I feel like a lot of us were going to be on OK State because of Cunningham, because of how well Oklahoma State was playing going into the tournament, until you saw their draw. They're a number 4 seed. They probably should have been a 3. And they're in this brutal region where you're facing Liberty first, who play a Virginia-style defense. Then you have to face potentially Tennessee. And then Illinois, who many people believe are the best team outside of Gonzaga in this tournament with Kofi Cockburn and Ayo DeSumo. This is not an easy path for OK State, yet you're still going to take a shot on them.
Yeah, I am still taking a stab at Oklahoma State. I in my bracket that I'm doing, a bunch of my bracket competitions, I'm choosing Oklahoma State to go to the Final Four, and a lot of them kind of them as my kind of differential pick. And it really is pretty simple. They have beaten Baylor recently, and then they went on a run where they beat Texas, Texas Tech, swept Oklahoma, and then got 2 wins over West Virginia. Basically, they played very poorly for half the season and then kind of change things up, which, by the way, I've seen with a lot of college basketball teams. There just was so much going on with, COVID and injuries and missing tests. Like, it's the weirdest college basketball season ever. Like, can you ever remember a season where Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky were all bad at once? It's a very bizarre season. And this is kind of the thesis behind the play is Cade Cunningham is capable of a Steph Curry, Carmelo Anthony type run in the NCAA tournament. We think he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. He does look like just this phenomenal player, averaging 20 points a game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. And the advanced numbers do not love Oklahoma State, though they've had a huge run in the recent weeks. But basically, betting on Oklahoma State to win or to make the Final Four, it's all about Cade Cunningham. Can Cade Cunningham put in one of those, march to remembers? And I think he can. I think he's that good.
You're absolutely right, Davis. By taking Oklahoma State, you're betting on Cade Cunningham, doing a Kemba Walker type tournament, a Shabazz Napier, if I'm sticking with UConn for some reason. But that's the truth. Cunningham and Oklahoma State can do it. You talked about the teams that they've beaten recently, and beating Baylor, beating Texas, Texas Tech, all these really strong Big 12 teams gives them some momentum going into this tournament. We'll see if they can do it again and get rolling here as the tournament kicks off in just a couple of days. One final long shot to get you, and this is like 100 to 1 here. We're talking about the Wisconsin Badgers from the Big Ten. They're in an 8-9 game in the opening round, taking on North Carolina. I've watched a lot of Wisconsin, being a Maryland fan. They're not very good, Davis. Why are you in on them at 100 to 1?
So this is basically where evaluating stuff simply through efficiency numbers comes out, because Wisconsin is the number 10 team in Ken Pomeroy's college basketball rankings. And I think it's clear why. They simply just do not turn the ball over. Literally they have the lowest turnover rating of all 384 teams in college basketball. A bunch of their minutes go to seniors, like a crazy amount of their total minutes played on the floor are played by seniors. Now, if they were also a team that didn't turn the ball over at all and were good at shooting 3-pointers, I think they would, obviously not be this low of a seed. They shoot, I think, 32%, 32.7% from a team from 3. Obviously, you have to do better than that in tournament. But just not turning the ball over and having seniors on the floor is a recipe that we've seen a lot of lower seeds do to get into the Sweet 16. It's very thin. Can Wisconsin beat Oklahoma State? Can Wisconsin beat Illinois? Probably not. I imagine that FanDuel a little bit closer is going to release futures for making the Elite 8, making the Final Four, making the Sweet 16, and I would be more likely to do that. I also like just Wisconsin as a dog in some of these games against the spread because they don't turn the ball over and they're playing all these seniors. But this is normally a golf show, so I gotta bring in my Keith Mitchells, my Corey Con. We gotta bring the huge dog in here. And so Wisconsin and their super boring, disgusting, slow pace of play, they're our Keith Mitchell dart, our honorary dart this year.
Greg Gard's team is experienced, as Davis said, facing off against Roy Williams' Tar Heel squad for the right to play Baylor in the second round, something that could quickly end the 100 to 1 ticket for the Wisconsin Badgers. You could have went with Maryland, who only has to play Alabama if they can get by UConn. You chose to go with a different Big Ten team. That's a mistake, but no big deal. Wisconsin at 100 to 1. Better play them as an underdog or the ability to get potentially to the Elite 8 or the Final Four rather than taking this ticket to win it all. That's going to do it for us here on the FanDuel Hurry Up. I am pumped for the tournament, Davis. I'm excited to talk to you throughout.
Yeah, super excited. It's just gonna be a great time, and I hope that Oklahoma State is able to make a run, and I hope that we just have some really cool sporting moments throughout the course of March Madness. Just some awesome storylines continue to develop, because that's what we're all here for.
We know drama. That's the TNT tagline. Hopefully, we get that drama across the Turner networks and across, of course, CBS here, and then it's just straight up madness over the next few days. For Davis Mattek, I'm Greg Sussman. Join us tomorrow where Megan Nunez will join us to talk more about the NCAA tournament. Have a great night, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for another edition of the FanDuel Hurry Up.